Hello, everybody. Shout out to my four beautiful daughters, MMCQ. Thanks for showing your daddy what to do. Just so everyone's aware, in America, I urge you to go on the FBI.gov and you can find the statistic that every 40 seconds, a child goes missing in America. That amounts to over 800,000 children a year. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about specifically this video, the MSU police cadets. I just had criminal justice class with one of the criminal justice professors here at Michigan State University. And the past couple of days, I've been asking students if they've ever heard of the MSU police cadets or who they are. Okay. And none of them knew who they are. None of them heard of the MSU police cadets. Okay. And then I asked the students this question because on the police report, it states that an officer tasked the MSU police cadets at 8:20 to send out the notification or emergency alert to lock down campus. That was sent at 8:20. So I asked these students that I asked if they've ever heard of the cadets. If you were in charge of a police station, would you put kids in charge of locking down a campus of 60,000 students, the cadets? Or would you instead let professionals do it that are sworn officers, okay, that are in the command center? Okay. And they all said they would actually have the adults do it, police. They would not put kids in charge of that. They would put experienced professionals in charge. That's common sense. Okay, now I asked my criminal justice professor. He thought that was normal. Now I explained to him that if you were a parent of one of these kids that died, you would be livid to know that they were supposed to send it out at 8:20, which the MSU police cadets, they replied to this officer, "We got you." Well, they sure did. Okay, because then they must have finished their six-pack of beer. Okay, had a smoke because they waited 11 minutes to send out the emergency. Now there's a shooting going on at this time inside Berkey Hall. Okay, and the shooter just, according to their timeline, had just left. There's now whatever these cadets were doing. The emergency alert wasn't sent out until McRae left Union. That's when they decided, and they had at least 6 minutes to get that thing out. And they're the ones working in the command center. I come to find out they're criminal justice students. That's a dereliction of duty on the university. So now that's at least 6 to 10 minutes or 11, 6 to 11 minutes. Okay. Or 9 to 11 minutes. Okay. That these kids, these cadets or officers, any adult could have sent out the emergency alert that there's a shooting going on. Because a lot of people found out from the news. Okay. So instead of the officer who wrote this report, okay, the next report down, another officer, okay, while this was going on, well, one officer put little kids in charge of locking down a 60,000 person campus. Okay, another officer was calling the MSU police department writer. He called the writer as a shooting's going on. He has time to think, nope, I don't need to get my helmet and vest at this point, okay, and go help these people, which he states in the report. He grabbed his helmet and vest once the writer was notified. Okay. What does the writer do? He checks to see which of their officers are working, which was a total of four. How many officers were working that night? You think it was more than four? Okay. There was loads of officers and first responders that could have got that emergency alert sent out. I mean, what about the ambulance people, the first responders, the police that are at Berkey, or the people in the command center that know what's going on? Why did you have MSU police cadets do a campus lockdown for a nationally televised mass shooting? Can anybody explain that? Any adults in charge? I don't think they can. Because when I asked my criminal justice professor, okay, why a writer would be called while a shooting's going on when lives could be saved, because it's instant. And he just taught us that it's whenever you call the police, they arrive. It's whenever people call and are notified. So those people being notified was time sensitive. The fact that the MSU cadets, they should never be allowed to be around a mass shooting. Like, are you kidding me? They're not sworn officers. They're not professionals. They're kids who barely can pass tests in criminal justice class. Okay? So think about that. They were tasked with a national, because I could barely pass. I'm very smart. I studied for that last test. Like, he has to curve the grade because kids, they don't understand all this stuff he's teaching. That's beside the fact, okay? But when I ask them about the police cadets, I'm going to chirp you a little bit. Because you reply with that, it means you don't care about kids. It means you do not care about the safety of children. If you're not mad about that alone, that children were in charge of putting out the nation or the emergency alert to all the students at a 60,000 person campus, you're insane. Like you are literally insane. Like that professor, like he needs a mental health evaluation because he doesn't care about children or the kids that die. Okay, he needs to get help. The fact that I stated that to him and it didn't register is like, oh wow, that's wrong. That's his brain not being able to process the difference between right and wrong. So he's lost his moral compass, and that's a huge part of anybody's mental fortitude. He's mentally, in the medical terms, he's mentally incapacitated, and you are too if you don't care about this. If you don't care about children, or the stat that every 40 seconds in the United States of America, a child goes missing, you're mentally incapacitated because you've lost the ability to tell right from wrong. It means, well, how can we trust you to do anything? If you can't care for children or at least protect them or speak up about it, how can we trust you to do anything? How can we trust you to be around children, teaching our children? Wake up. There's parents and there's people on this campus that are pissed off, okay? Because there's a certain small 6%, I'll call it, group of people that run things on this campus. And it's sinister, the stuff they get away with. Not anymore. Law and order. Not anymore. Love you, Miller, Madison, Collette, Quinn. Have a great day. I suggest if you're part of the police cadets, you should turn yourself in. You're in a secret little order. You cause kids to die. I would go turn yourself into the FBI.